All right then. Eswatini says it has repatriated U.S. deportee to Jamaica. All right then. So everybody seems to be doing the further job of repatriating whoever was repatriated or deported to their countries. Okay, let's see what's happening on that front. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. On the African front as well. Okay. Yeah, I think we tagged on that yesterday. The external reserve hits $43 billion. 14 banks meet new capital requirements. That's what the CBN is saying. Ekiti Guba, I can only step down for Oyibanji, says female aspirant. And Tinubu reforms driving record revenue growth, says the FIRS. We'll be telling you more about all those that are happening there as well. And then breaking, angry protesters block Makadi Abuja highway after herdsmen kill Catholic Church minister. Others in Benue State. And Dangote refinery court restrains Nupeng from embarking on strike. Well, you want to know more, you got to stay tuned, because we're going to be bringing you more from there as well. The alleged terrorism case court to rule on Kano's case in submission on Friday. No case submission on Friday. We'll be telling you more about Igbo elders to Tinubu. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. His health is failing. As whether he's going to do that or not. Hand over Nnamdi Kanu to Bianca and Onyanze leader. Ono tells Tinubu. But it looks like Tinubu is also, trying to be strong, not doing anything. Abuja High Court brings forward Nnamdi Kanu's hearing to September 26th. That's Friday. So we'll see what is happening there as well. On the IPOP front, court fixes fresh date for judgment on Nnamdi Kanu's trial. And then Army confirms arrest of IPOP ESN commander Gentle D. Yahoo in Imo. And then IPOP judge transferred Nnamdi Kanu's motion to chief judge for reassignment. Okay, we'll tell you more about all that as the program goes on. But when it comes to Ghana as well, a law lecturer has dragged G-Tech UCC to court over Vice Chancellor retirement saga. Mohammed's honeymoon fades as his job performance approval slips. That's what a survey is saying. They think that he's not doing much as fast as they really want. But interestingly, one other story. Ghana is exporting gold to import noodles. That's quite interesting, right? Okay. Are we going to get some companies who can manufacture noodles in Ghana? What are noodles made from? Is it not flour? And then what? But well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, we move on. Apologies to all of you who were watching live on okay on the YouTube. But let's complete the global trotting, and then I will I think I have restarted another YouTube feed, and let's see how that will pan out for all of us. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then. Okay, we move on whilst we do so. In other stories, Martin Hamidu has broken his silence on removal of Gertrude Tokonu, and then the president has nominated a new person to become the Chief Justice of Ghana. And what has been the reaction? Well, you want to know more, you got to stay tuned. I'm going to be telling you more on that front. And then, yes. PRC increases electricity tariff by 1.14% for quarter 4. Well, that is something that is thinkable. For lack of words, let me put it that way. Because earlier on, what they were saying, I was like, are you people for real? Going to charge extra of what? Where are they going to get the money from? That's why people still continue to steal, because when the burden is too much, what do you expect them to do? But Mahama has nominated Justice Paul Bafuboni as Chief Justice. Will he get the nominee? Well, this and a lot more going to be coming your way. MPP visits Mahama over alleged state harassment against party members. All right then. When you weaponize state apparatus to intimidate people, well, but where the MPP doing the same? Somebody say, yeah, so what is happening? But while some people in the NDC have also started, let's see who is going to be taking over from Mahama. It's not a year since they came into power, but they are trying to start. But, well, they're saying, be careful about that. And who is saying that? I'm going to tell you more about all that as the program goes on. So wherever you are, Starr Radio UK, we're going to bring you everything that you get to know. It's from your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a break. We come back and we continue with the show.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06 386. and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program. This is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now at exactly 11:29, and we go to the details of the stories that is making the rounds. Interestingly, the government is spending loads of money. The Home Secretary has ordered an urgent review into the use and cost of taxi to transfer asylum seekers from their hotels to appointments. The move by Shabana Mahmood that found some migrants having to travel long distances on journeys costing hundreds of pounds. One asylum seeker said he had taken 250-mile journey to visit a GP, with the driver telling him the cost to the Home Office was £600. Asylum seekers are issued with a bus pass for one return journey per week, but for any other necessary travel, such as doctor's appointment, taxis are called. The information coming through the BBC, the government asked the government how much it spends on taxi travel for asylum seekers via a Freedom of Information Act request, but the Home Office said it does not keep these figures. The file on 4 investigations reported that asylum seekers must show proof of an upcoming appointment at the reception desk at their hotel, where a taxi is booked on an automated system. Public transport or walking is not presented as an option. Now, this can result in some unusually long journeys and others that are unusually short. For instance, when migrants move between hotels, they sometimes keep the same NHS doctors, especially for GPs referrals. Now, Work and Pension Secretary Pat McFadden said that a program, he agreed that there should be an investigation into how the system works. I'm not surprised that this was a feature that caught people's eye. He said on Tuesday, Housing Minister Matthew Pennycock said on a program it was questionable that asylum seekers needed to take such long taxi journeys, and said the government would look into those cases. He added that asylum seekers were not ordinary citizens just jumping on a bus. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Phillips said every 600 taxi ride for migrant is money that should be paying for British patients to see their GP or for ambulances to turn up on time. This is why people feel the system is rigged against them. Labour are writing a blank check for illegal immigration, while service for hard-working families are strained. The BBC went into 4 hotels housing asylum seekers as part of its investigation, uncovering cramped living conditions, illegal working, and fire alarms covered with plastic bags as residents secretly cook meals over electric hobs in bathrooms. Smoke alarms covered with plastic bags as residents cook meals using electric hobs in the bathrooms. A 12-year-old girl living in a hotel who had spent 3/4 of her life in the asylum system. Once we get settled in a place, then they move us, she said. Some asylum seekers saying they had no choice but to work illegally for as little as £20 a day to pay off debts to people smugglers. Well, it's quite an interesting one, and that is a job that if you give me today, in the next 5 minutes, the first thing I would do is to resign. Well, it's quite another one of those. In these times, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. What do you think is the way forward? What do you think is the way forward? And why can't they just move them to other GPs if they are closer to them? Well, somebody who has been paying their taxes and doing everything. Leonie Clancy and her boyfriend had stayed for years to be able to move out of their parents' homes and into their first rental property together. But 9 months later, all their savings had disappeared on living costs, and they both moved back home. The 21-year-old is now sharing bedroom with her 10-year-old sister. Leonie is one of the growing number of young people who now say it is a rising cost of running a home. That means they can't afford to buy or rent their own place. Industry experts have warned 9 out of 10 young adults living with parents in the UK will face costs of nearly half their income if they moved out. Figures from property and finance firm Skipton Group suggested. Now, while she gets on well with her mom and her sister, Leonie says it just doesn't feel like it's my place. It's not great in terms of not being able to see my partner, not having the life that we had, having to take that massive step back from the independence that I had. I just don't think it's fair. But she felt he had no choice. Being able to afford running a home is just insane, she says. When I first moved in, I did some savings ready. By the time we'd moved out, they'd gone. I'd say main problems were the utilities, council tax, and rent. Yep. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A mom has also said that the authorities failed their daughter who died after fleeing a police vehicle despite being handcuffed and having an officer sitting beside her. Tamsin Hall, 17, from Wellington in Somerset, sustained fatal injuries when she was struck by a car on the M5 between Taunton and Bridgewater shortly after 23 hours on 11th of November. Her mother, Amy Hall, said Tamsin was desperately failed. She never got the right help. She never got listened to. Avon and Somerset Police said it had referred the incident to the Independence Office for Police Conduct and could not speculate on the outcome. The IOPC said Tamsin was handcuffed in the back of a police vehicle with an officer alongside her when it pulled over for safety reasons. Ms. Hall said Tamsin should have been transported in a van rather than a car due to her high-risk behavior. My question is, how did she manage to get out of the handcuffs and out of the car with 2 police officers? Ms. Hall added. Ms. Hall said Tamsin was beautiful and caring with a great sense of humor. Now, she had been diagnosed with autism and suffered from severe mental health issues, but she also found plenty of happier times in her life, her mom said. Now, she was chocolate mad. She liked cooking, tried all sort of things. She had love of birds as well, Ms. Hall added. Well, it's quite a sad thing that has happened. Maybe she should have been given the necessary security if she was suffering from mental health. But the police know at the time she was being transported. Somebody say, not sure. And therefore, they might just thought, okay, let's put her in a car instead of putting her in the van where she'll be locked behind there. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on at 11:38 to other stories making the round. It's interesting. Well, Jimmy Kimmel has criticized anti-American threats to free speech during an emotional return to late-night U.S. television following a brief suspension after his comments about the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Now, through tears, the comedian said during Tuesday's comeback showed that it was never my intention to make light the murder of a young man. Kimmel accused the head of organization that regulates American TV of mob tactics and poked fun at President Donald Trump's appearance at the UN, including an escalator mishap. But Tuesday's episode was not available to all viewers in all markets due to opposition from some local stations affiliated with Kimmel's network program. Those broadcasters which are run by the companies Nexstar and Sinclair, reported account for about 1 in 5 of ABC's local stations in the U.S. Now, Kimmel's broadcast was, however, available on streaming service Hulu plus Live TV, which is owned by ABC parent company Disney. Now, Trump, who had welcomed the comedian's suspension, was critical for a reinstatement, writing, "I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back." Now, if you're singing Trump's praises, you're doing the right thing. The moment you critique him, boy, or you do something that he is not on the same page with, that is fake, that is bad, that is wrong. Well, in a monologue at the time, the comedian said Trump and his allies were desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and trying to score political points from that. Well, so he was converted by the extreme left. Okay, it's Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, in a wide-ranging speech at the United Nations that lasted just under 1 hour, U.S. President Donald Trump described climate change as the greatest con job ever, reiterated that recognizing a Palestinian state will reward Hamas, singled out Europe over migration policies, and criticized its failure to cut off Russian energy products. He began his speech by complaining that his teleprompter wasn't working and that an escalator in the building malfunctioned while he and the First Lady, Melania Trump, were on it. And he said it was, but for the fact that the wife was fit, she would have hurt herself. Well, what do you think about that? Will he give them some money to repair it? Well. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, NASA has said it hopes to send astronauts on a 10-day trip around the moon as soon as February. Wow. The U.S. Space Agency had previously committed to launching no later than the end of April, but said it aims to bring the mission forward. It's been 50 years since any country had flown a crewed lunar mission. NASA will send 4 astronauts there and back to test systems. The Artemis 2 mission is the second launch of the Artemis program, whose aim is to land astronauts and eventually establish a long-term presence on the lunar surface. Now, Lakeisha Hawkins, NASA's acting deputy associate administrator, said it will be an important moment in the human exploration of space. We together have a front row seat to history, he told news conference yesterday afternoon. The launch window could open as early as the 5th of February, but we want to emphasize that safety is our top priority. Artemis launch director Charlie Blackwell Thompson explained that the powerful rocket system built to take the astronaut to the moon, the space launch system, was pretty much stacked and ready to go. All that remained was to complete the crew capsule called Orion connected to SLS and to complete ground tests. The first Artemis mission lasted 25 days and saw the launch of an uncrewed spacecraft in November 2022. It was a spacecraft. It saw a spacecraft travel around the moon and re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. The mission was overwhelmingly successful, though there were issues with the heat shield as the spacecraft re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. These have since been addressed. Okay, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So, in other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, Typhoon Ragasa has made landfall in China, which around 2 million people were evacuated in preparation. At least 17 people have been killed or died in Taiwan after a lake burst, causing severe flooding in the east. Geologists are describing it as tsunami from the mountains. A month's worth of rain is expected today in Suhai City as it hankers down the king of storms. Now, Ragasa has weakened from super to severe typhoon status, but remains highly destructive. Top winds of 241 kilometers or 150 miles per hour, equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane. Ragasa is the world's strongest storm this year and has been roaring over the South China Sea for days. The typhoon did not make landfall in Hong Kong, but left 62 people injured after it skirted the coastline, unleashing powerful winds and heavy rain. Well, we wish them all the best, and the rescue mission that's going to be taking place, we know they're going to do their best on that front. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. One from the Middle East. Dia, a middle-aged father and husband, was a polite host at his family home in one of the refugee camps in central Gaza, but you could see his pain. Abdullah was 19 years old. He's talking about his son, 19 years old eldest son. On the 2nd of August, he was shot dead waiting for the daily opening of one of the food distribution sites run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. It started operating in Gaza in May, established by Israel and US and protected by the Israeli military, the IDF, and armed American security guards who are special forces veterans. In Abdullah's empty bedroom, they hugged his son's school bag. My darling boy, his smell is on it. His smell is on it. May God have mercy on you, my son, forgive you, and accept you in the highest rank of paradise. God willing, with the Lord of the worlds. Okay, well, those are the happenings in the Middle East, and Gaza City is saying that medics are describing hospital overwhelmed by casualties from Israeli strikes. And we need solutions. Palestinians in West Bank fear recognition is not enough. So what solution are they going to get? Well, you want to know more, you got to stay tuned, because Starr Radio UK will make sure we bring you more on that front. Interestingly as well, the line is activated. If you want to hop in, feel free to do so. Just call us or via Teams. Just look for Starr Radio UK and we will be up there. Okay. On the African front, Malawi's president Lazarus Chakwera has accepted that he has lost last week's election. He was speaking in a national address. He has been trailing ex-president Peter Mutharika in the votes counted so far. Mutharika has got about 66% of the votes compared to Chakwera's 24%. Malawians are anxiously awaiting the final results of the election. The election that was held 8 days ago. The election commission says it has taken its time to ensure the results are accurate. Chakwera's party had complained of serious anomalies during the counting process. Wow. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. You know, when you are losing, you have to say something. Oh, say something. Say something. All right. Let's move on to Nigeria, since we are pressed with time after time. All right. Let me bring you this, and then we can move on from that, because there have been a few issues here and there. Yeah, the much awaited okay. The Federal High Court in Abuja has rescheduled the ruling for September 26 on the no-case submission made by detained self-acclaimed leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The IPOB leader is on trial on terrorism-related charges. The nation learned yesterday that the ruling, earlier scheduled for October 10, by Justice James Omotosho was brought forward to September 26. It was also learned that a judge has the prerogative to determine when to render a decision within the 3 months allowed by the Constitution once parties are notified about the date. Now, Justice Omotosho had on July 18 adjourned till October 10 for ruling on the no case submission after lawyers to the parties made their submissions and adopted their written addresses. Opposing Kano's no case submission on July 18, prosecuting lawyer Adeboyega Awomolo urged the court to direct Kano to enter a defense in the terrorism charge for which he is being prosecuted. But he said that, well, I've not done anything wrong, so there's no. Now, Awomolo also urged the court to reject the no case submission made by the defense and prayed the court to instead order him to explain why he engaged in terrorism related activities that promoted violence and destruction, including the killing of not less than 170 security officials. Awomolo, who adopted the prosecution address in opposition to the no case submission made by Kano, said the prosecution has applied sufficient evidence in proof of all elements of the offenses charged to warrant the court to call on the defendant to enter a defense. The lawyer recalled that the prosecution called 5 witnesses and tendered many exhibits, including video and audio evidences, adding that as against the claim by defense lawyer Kano Agabi, the reply address of the prosecution addressed all issues raised to the effect that no case submission is of no moment. But what do you think is going to happen? Well, with the case of what do we call him, the United States of Biafra Prime Minister, who is now incarcerated in Finland, do you think it's going to have an impact on Kano's case of, because he is alleged that he was the one who was perpetrating all that killings and stuff like that. That's why the Finnish court has jailed him. But what do you think? What do you think there? This is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean. Well, the judge say it is his prerogative to move the case forward. So the ruling is for the no case submission. It's been moved forward to Friday. So we'll try to monitor it once we come on Friday, God willing. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But some okay, I think we picked those ones for today. Hand over Nnamdi Kanu to Bianca and Ohainze leader Ono tells Tinubu. But will Tinubu do that, or they are waiting for the this declaration by the judge on Friday, this ruling, and then they may do that? A fresh bid for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has begun with calls for his freedom on compassionate grounds. Denge Joseph Ono, the former spokesperson for All Progressive Congress presidential campaign in the Southeast, has requested the President Bola Tinubu release Kanu into the custody of Iyom Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, and Chief John Azuta Mbata, President of the President General of the Ohainze Indigbo Worldwide. Ono said the move will serve as part of ongoing efforts to promote inclusive governance, national healing, and conflict resolution. He explained that his appeal was a constructive plea on behalf of the Igbo people and the broader Nigerian family. But it looks like the Igbo people think that they are always being sidelined and marginalized, and that's why they are doing whatever. But do you think that the president should heed to this call? Should he release Nnamdi Kanu? Just for, I mean, yeah, he is the president. He can do that, so that there will be peace, or for inclusiveness. Well, this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's see whether there have been any updates from Ghana, my happy home. Okay. That's what they say. Yeah. The former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu has said that the former Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Takwanu was lawfully removed from office on September 1, 2025 as both Chief Justice and Justice of the Supreme Court. Amidu has dismissed Takonu's legal challenge as inconsistent with established constitutional law, pointing to the Supreme Court's landmark decision in Ejay Chum versus Attorney General and Akwete 2005-2006 ruling. The removal of the Chief Justice pursuant to Article 146, Subsection 1, Subsection 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is coterminous with the removal of the Chief Justice as a Justice of the Superior Court under Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution. He argued in a statement on September 22, that was yesterday. It will be the height of absurdity to suggest that a Chief Justice whose grounds for removal are the same as those of other justices of the Superior Court retains her position after removal. Now, Amidu also emphasized that the precedent set in Ejay Chum case leaves no room for ambiguity. The Supreme Court made it clear that the administrative acts of the Chief Justice are not immune from challenge in an impeachment process. It is therefore unacceptable to exclude a priori or administrative acts of the Chief Justice from scrutiny as possible evidence of stated misbehavior, he said. Now, drawing on history, Amidu compared Tokonu's removal to that of Sir Akko-Kosa in 1963 and to the judicial career of Edward Akufo-Addo, who went on to become president. He noted that those figures left legacies of legal distinction, while in his view, Tokonu has no comparable distinction or learning as a justice of the Supreme Court or Chief Justice. Amidu further warned against what he described as attempts to politicize a straightforward constitutional process. Now, the simple petition for the removal of the Chief Justice were being politicized by a political party that appointed her as Chief Justice as part of a political process of attacking the governing party, he wrote. Well, it's difficult for you to prove that. They will say, well, they had to appoint a new one. They did appoint a new one. So what do you think about that? But, well, the final story, and then we go. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has nominated His Lordship Justice Paul Bafo-Boni as Ghana's next Chief Justice following the removal of Justice Gertrude Takonu. The announcement was made on Tuesday, September 23, by presidential spokesperson Felix Kwachofosu, who confirmed that Justice Bafo-Boni's name has been formally submitted to the Council of State for consideration. Now, Justice Bafo-Boni has been serving as acting Chief Justice since April 2025 after Justice Tokonu was suspended and later dismissed for stated misbehavior based on the findings of a constitutional committee set up under Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution. Currently, the most senior judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Bafo-Boni, was appointed to the Apex Court in 2008 by then President John Ejekum Kufuor. His judicial career spans over 4 decades, beginning as a circuit court judge in Kumasi through the High Court and Court of Appeal before his elevation to the Supreme Court. Born in December 1956, he studied law at the University of Ghana and the Ghana School of Law, where he was called to the bar in 1983. If approved, Justice Bafo-Boni will formally assume leadership of the judiciary at a critical moment, guiding the institution through transition after the dramatic removal of his predecessor. The Council of State is expected to provide its advice in the coming days, after which Parliament will vet the nominee for approval. Well, interesting times, right? But, well, let's all come away from Starr Radio UK. Once again, let me say thank you very much to Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, who loved the program that we're doing this morning, and to every one of you who have tuned in this morning to listen to us. Well, we're going to take a bow, and God willing, tomorrow we're going to be back here bringing you another edition of the morning show. That will be the Thursday edition of the morning show, of course. But until then, I will say, as I normally will, this is Archie, and this is Starr Radio UK, and I'm out like that. We take a commercial break, it ends, and you don't see me. Then I see you all tomorrow. Until then, bye! In celebration of Black History Month, BB Clement presents Afro Global Networking Lunch 2025. Speaker, Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. The date is Monday, the 27th of October 2025, from 12 noon to 3 p.m. The venue is Stevenson Howard LLP, 1 Finsbury Circus, City of London. The postcode EC2M7SH. Please note, this is an exclusive event with limited spaces. The fee comes at £60 ordinary, for VIPs £75. For more information, please contact reception at augustineclement.com or call 0203 223 0800. This program is sponsored by Stevenson Howard.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting live online.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.